Our special edition on this live-breaking news about King Charles III, who has been diagnosed with cancer. I'm joined now by my Pack Talk TV contributor Esther Cracker, the Daily Mirror's associate editor Kevin Maguire, and the political journalist Ms Santina. Well, it's all a bit of a shock, isn't it? Yeah. And we've had a lot of them with the royals and health. We lost Prince Philip, we lost the Queen, and then 2 weeks ago we suddenly woke up and in the space of 2 hours we had Charles in hospital, Kate, Princess of Wales in hospital, and now this massive escalation in the King's health. Kevin, I know you're not a monarchist, but for the country, this is a bit of a seismic blow.
Oh, it is, and look, and I wish him a full and speedy recovery. He's more fortunate than the 2 in 5 people who don't get their cancer treatment to start with in the 2 months they're supposed to on the NHS. But you're right, because look, he's just become king. It was only May, 8 months ago, he had the coronation. And I admire and respect the openness in saying he has a form of cancer, but of course the questions will come. Which cancer is it? What is the stage? How will the treatment proceed? Because these are all questions. When
Interesting
he has a constitutional
the Fox
role.
News doctor, Dr. Mark Siegel, theorising that because he's not being treated in hospital as an inpatient, he was quite encouraged by that. And he felt that lent more to potentially something like bladder cancer, which is very treatable, apparently, in this kind of situation. You know, we don't know, but he thought the fact he wasn't being kept in was a good sign.
I've known friends who've not been treated in hospital and they've died from cancer. And then, because of the,
well, I think
the course of treatment.
If you get cancer at 75, whatever it is, it's not good. Ava, what do you make of this? I mean, it's just blown everything else up. The news is a huge development, as it always is with the royals, going around the world. What do you think?
I mean, it's very sad that a man has got cancer, but let's just remember he is but a man. He is not, any more special just
well, he is the king.
Yeah, but, I think...
That does make him quite special.
He's a celebrity, and it's always very sad when celebrities are unwell, and I completely appreciate that. However, I would also say this is a really good moment in time to talk about statutory sick pay. So King Charles now doesn't have to work. He'll do his phone call with the Prime Minister or whatever, but he's not going to his public engagement.
He's 75 years old.
He have to work anyway. He'd probably retire.
Why would you want to be so churlish?
I'm not being churlish. What I'm pointing out is that
you think when a 75-year-old king
but there'll be
has cancer, you should be talking about statutory sick pay?
Who've woken up and they might be 56, they might need to go to work.
Would they be working at 75 as hard as he does?
About people who are 56.
Do you know any 75-year-old that works as hard as he does?
What hard?
At 75?
Let's not get into this today because I feel bad because a man is unwell and a family is.
You don't think he works hard?
And I appreciate that. But look, I think it's a pretty cushy job that I think many of us could also do.
A cushy job, being King of England?
I think I would be fine being King of England.
Really?
I think I could do it as a side job, actually.
You'd have to identify as a man, which I know you probably would. Just because you could, right? Esther, I don't share that view at all. Yeah. I don't think he has an easy life. I think he's had a very tough few years, actually, losing both his parents and then having a coronation to replace the most popular, longest-serving monarch in our history. Yeah. All very, very tough stuff. He's had all the stuff with Harry, disenfranchised from one of his sons. I mean, he's not had this easy at all. But whatever this is, it's serious, I think, from the way this has played out tonight.
Of course, and I think most people are concerned with actually the constitutional implications of this, not just the fact that obviously this is a man who's in his 70s and he has been diagnosed with cancer. It's obviously tragic. But there are questions, will he have to abdicate, only about a year into his reign? What will happen with Prince William, who has 3 young children, and his dynamic or family dynamic will change radically if he has to take on more duties. I think that's probably the bigger implications. Look, yes, the UK does have, in terms of clinical outcomes, some of the lowest cancer outcomes in the developed world. I mean, we're on par with Portugal, and we spend as much on our NHS as the whole GDP of Portugal. So, it's not great. But at the end of the day, illness doesn't discriminate. I don't think saying that he has the best care somehow negates the fact that this is a man with cancer. If this was your grandfather,
the best care. He's the king of England.
But even if he was your grandfather, you would want him to have the best care.
I'm glad they put out a statement and they've been more open than they have in the past, the royal family. But it raises so many questions. They should be answered in public because he is the ultimate public figure in the UK. Which cancer is it?
Do you think he should be obliged to say that?
I do.
We never knew that about the other world.
If he's going to help other people, which he says he wants to, and I think he did, talking about his
Well, there might be a
prostate.
time when he does talk about what type of cancer, but the mere fact he's talking about having cancer...
But then you understand.
Well,
he's not Joe Public.
But also think about it this way: what if he needs time to process this? I mean, we're talking about this breaking news.
I think we so quickly forget that human beings. I've been guilty of it myself. I actually really feel for Camilla tonight. This is the great love of her life, and he is fighting a battle for his life.
Yeah.
And she's got to go out and still be the queen, still going to perform all her functional duties, apparently. He can't do his, but she'll have to do hers, whilst every night going back to the reality that her husband is facing this huge battle.
You're absolutely right. I've been fortunate. I've never been diagnosed with cancer, but again, friends, family who are say everything stops.
Everything stops.
Everything stops when you just hear.
Everything
I'm
stops.
I'm
it's
sorry.
a huge moment
you
for
have
all
cancer.
of them. And you got William the same with his wife. We don't know what happened with Kate, but it must have been serious. She's
For
off
2 weeks.
off for months.